Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, Handful of Daisies DIY. If you're new here, I'm Elaine. This week's video, we're going to be working on some wooden items that I picked up at the Goodwill quite a while back. I'm trying to work through my hoard. I've got so much stuff. I haven't been to the Goodwill in a while, so I'm trying to work through everything that I have. So to upcycle those wood items, we're going to be using the Tim Holtz Collage papers. So today's video is going to be all black and white items. I know, no surprise. I love black and white, so that's what we're going to be doing today. So if you're ready, let's get to it. Here's a look at the first item we're going to be working on today. I'm going to be painting with Dixie Belle's caviar and cotton, and then I'm going to be using the Tim Holtz collage papers in the botanical on this one. I'm going to be using my Mod Podge to put the paper down. This box is just a cute little shelf box. I'm going to paint the whole inside white in the Dixie Belle cotton, which is a really bright white. I'm going to have to move it all around just to get to all of the little corners on the inside. I wanted it to look all nice and clean on the inside with this bright white. And I'm not going to take off the hinges on the door or the magnets on the door. I'm going to paint around the magnets, but I am going to paint the hinges. Well, this little shelf box was really cute to begin with, but just a little outdated. So I wanted to freshen it up a little bit. I'm going to be painting the trim in the caviar, which is black. So I'm not worried about getting all of that with the white right now. And I'm just putting a thin coat on as the base coat, and then I'll let that dry and come back and put a second coat on. This box was a little shiny, so I wanted to make sure I got just a thin coat on first. You can see I'm pretty messy when I paint. I get paint all over me, especially painting the inside. And you can see I am using my Lazy Susan to put my project on. That does make it so much easier to paint all around it without having to pick it up and move it and touching the paint. It's such a perfect moment. The little handle on the door is a little rose. It's really cute, so I decided to leave that on because it does match the collage paper that I'm using. So as with all of my projects, I'm impatient to let the paint dry, so I'm using my hair dryer to dry it up so I can get to the second coat. Now the second coat's all good and dry. I'm going to use the Dixie Belle Caviar to paint all the trim around the bottom and the roof and around the door, just the edges of the door. Now I'm not taping up around this, which I normally do because I don't paint in straight lines very well. So I'm trying to be really careful not to get the black on the white paint, but you'll see later I do get some black paint on the white and I'll have to go back and clean that up a little bit. Now the black is going to take 2 coats as well. You can see how thin it's going on. Let me know in the comments below what you think of the black and white. I've just always liked black and white items. They to me just seem like very clean. You can see at the top, I did get a little black paint splashed on the top, so I'll have to go back and clean that up as well. So I'm going to dry it with my hair dryer so I can get that second coat on. And try to clean up that top piece. So the second coat you can see is covering really well. I'll get that dried up with my hair dryer, and then I'm going to try to figure out where I want to put this paper. I wasn't sure if I wanted it on the front or the sides, but I did end up deciding to put it just on each side. So I'm going to measure it out and then cut 2 pieces, go on each side. I've used this paper on many projects before. Again, it's black and white, of course, so I love it. I'm going to start just at the top with my Mod Podge so I can get it lined up before I try to put the whole piece down. That way you can move it around a little bit. I'm lining it up with the edge. Now this paper is the perfect size for this project. I'm not going to have to cut anything off of the edges, just the top and the bottom. Now we'll link all the papers that I'm using down in the description below if you'd like to order some of this paper. So once I get the top down, I'll go ahead and do little bits at a time. And I'm using this card to flatten it out a little bit, but I'm being really careful with it, just a light touch because the paper will tear. And then just smoothing it out with my hands a little bit. I'm going to leave the edges on the top and the bottom until it dries before I trim those off. So I'm moving to the other side, and I'm going to do the same thing on this side, starting at the top. And just making sure the edges are straight. You can move it around a little bit, but like I said, the paper will tear if you're not careful with it. I'm putting a pretty good coat of Mod Podge on. And I'm only putting the Mod Podge underneath the paper. I'm not going to put it on the top because I'm going to go back after everything's dried and spray it with polyacrylic to seal the paint and the paper in. So once I did the sides, I decided the front needed something. It looked just a little too plain. So I decided to cut one of the roses out, and I'm going to place that on the door. I just cut it as close as I could. I think just the one rose on the front worked out really well. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Would you have put another full piece on the front, or how do you like just the rose on the front door? I am putting a little Mod Podge on top of the rose just because I wanted to seal down the edges really well. Then I'm going to go back and touch up that white paint where I did get a little bit of the black. And then touch up that rose on the handle as well. Now once it's dry, I did go back with my knife and trim off the edges. Again, you want to make sure it's good and dry before you trim it, because if you don't, the paper will tear. Here's a look at how it turned out, the before and the after. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this piece. Here's a look at our next project. This is a little birdhouse. Again, this one was really cute too, but it was a little worn and I wanted to update it a little bit as well. I'm using the same colors of Dixie Belle to do this one as well. And on this one, I'm using the butterfly entomology, I think I'm pronouncing that right, papers. I'm not going to bore you with painting this one the same as I did the first, so we're just going to move on to putting the paper on. This paper is really cute as well. It has butterflies and bugs and all sorts of cute little things. I thought it was appropriate for a little birdhouse. And I am going to put paper all the way around this one instead of just on the sides. Now there wasn't enough to wrap around the other side, so I'm doing each side with a new sheet, and then I'll trim off the edges. I'm just putting it on the same way, starting at the top and then smoothing it down to the bottom so I can get the one edge really straight. And then once it dries, I'll come back and cut out those little holes as well. So I'm doing the front and then the back. Let those dry, and then I'll trim those off before I do the sides. Of course, using my hairdryer to dry it. Are you as impatient as I am with things drying? You can use a heat gun for this, but I just use the hairdryer. It works just as well. And I picked up that little hairdryer at Dollar General. I think it was $10. Here's a look at the before and the after. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this one. Now this is our third project. This is the last one we're going to be doing. On this one, we're using the Typeset Composer collage paper. And I did paint this box the same colors, the cotton, and I ran out of the black paint that I was using, the Dixie Belle, so I did paint the inside and the top of this box with Waverly ink, which is a really deep black. I'm going to do all the way around the sides on this box as well, but I'm not going to cut each sheet. It fits pretty well all the way around this box, maybe 1/4 of an inch what hung over the end, and I'll trim that off after it dries. Same process, start on one end and just do a little at a time so you can smooth it out without getting a lot of wrinkles. And this little fan brush that I'm using, it works really well. I did pick that up at Walmart. I think I picked it up at Walmart. It came with several other brushes.
And when I was smoothing it out, I did mess up one little piece and I had to try to move that around a little bit so you couldn't tell. But this paper is pretty forgiving. The collage paper, it has so much going on in all different ways, so it's easy to cover that up. Here's a look at the before and the after of this box. What do you think of this one? Let me know in the comments below. Here's a look at how all 3 boxes turned out. I just love these boxes. Of course, I'm partial to the black and white. Let me know in the comments below, do you like the black and white, or would you have done some different colors? I think these are really good for all year round, not just in the springtime.
Thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed today's project. If you did, hit that like button. That helps my channel grow. And if you're not already subscribed, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button and join our DIY family. Make sure to comment below and let me know what you think of the projects today. I'd love to hear everyone's feedback, the good and the bad. Thanks for watching and have a great week.